Hey y'all, Backwoods Modeler here. Welcome to my workshop. Today we're gonna build a garage. Someone asked me to do a tutorial on building a garage. It's really pretty quick and cut and dry, so I thought why not, let's knock this out real quick. I've already drawn up the walls that I want. I've redone my doors a couple of times here. That's what these are, why these lines are all messed up. Try to do some erasing. My pencils are so old that the rubber it just disintegrated, so it didn't even erase the line. So no big deal. We're gonna paint this, or we're gonna do something to it. So I don't exactly know what yet, but we're just gonna go ahead and get one started. So I've already laid out my lines. My garage measurements here, the garage door here, or the garage wall, I'm sorry, is 2.5 inches tall. My garage door, or my garage itself here, the left wall is 2.5 inches tall. The right wall is 1.5 inches tall. And then my garage door, the big one, is 2 inches tall by 4 inches wide. My man door is 1.25 inches by about 3/4 of an inch roughly. This door is a little over, this is probably 1.75 inches by 1.75 inches. This door is 1.25 inches by 1.5 inches. Try to make each one a little bit bigger. I don't know how well it's going to look once we get it cut out, but we're going to find out here real soon. What I use to cut my foam with, again, this is a foam board, and I know the last time I didn't give you an exact measurement of thickness of what this foam is. Let's just show you. How about that? So I think it goes in millimeters. Probably can't even see that anyway, but it is about 5 millimeters thick is the foam board that I'm using, and this just came from Walmart. It's just real cheap thick foam board. It warped, so hopefully when I cut my pieces out they won't be so bad, but the board itself warped on us. So I'm just going to use my hobby knife and a metal flat edge to cut and make all my lines, and then I'll cut back in. I still haven't figured out I haven't mastered speeding up the film yet, so I have to cut in and do this the hard way, guys, so bear with me. I'll get this down soon. I'll be right back. Okay, so we got the walls cut out. I've already cut the other walls out of some other stuff from some other houses and stuff that I was building on. So this short piece, that's my 1.5 inch piece for my short wall, and this is my 2.5 inch piece for my taller wall. I'm going to make this garage probably about 6 inches deep, because I want to be able to put like my bigger stuff in, like my longer motor homes, or my longer motor homes in here. That's why I wanted the door so tall, so I could try to get the motorhomes in here. So let me get those cut here. I was going to cut these doors out on camera real fast. Most of the time I can freehand these doors because they're kind of small. So let's see if I can freehand these doors real quick without screwing up. I do it a couple times just to make sure that I get all the way through. And then these smaller ones I can freehand. I have a pretty good eye. You want to be careful around these corners because you don't want to break them off. The taller one, it's just a matter of following the lines, guys. I make 2 cuts, one shallow, and then the other one I use to make my final cut. It goes shallow because I think you keep a better grip on your knife. Better chance of cutting it that way, maybe. So, like I said, this goes pretty quick. I could have cut the walls out, but I would have been blocking too much of the shot. Alright, last door here. So yeah, using these knives, so you got to be really careful with them. They are razor knives, and I do change my knife pretty regularly, my blade I should say, pretty regularly. Okay, there we go. All our doors are cut out, guys. There we go. I guess those stepped up doors don't look that bad. We'll see how they look once we get some siding on there and get that all squared away. Alright, so we get our scrap pieces out of the way here. Get our front wall. That's our back wall. Now what we need is our end walls, side walls. Like I said, I'm going to make these 6 inches. I'll get my bigger square over here. It's a little easier to use. This end piece seems a little straighter. So I'm just going to put this into my square, grab my pencil, go over here and mark this at the 6-inch mark. And then we'll mark it again on the other side at the 6-inch mark. Now I'll take our smaller square. We'll draw us a nice line. I can make a nice straight cut normally, but I need a line to follow to make sure that I'm getting that straight cut. So there, real quick. There's our 6-inch piece on that one. We'll cheat on the other one and we'll just use this shorter piece as a template. We'll mark it up here, slide it down to this end, mark it again. There's our marks. Again, guys, we're not building a real house that we're going to move into here, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect or accurate. No one is really going to see the screw ups anyway, so as long as you don't show the screw ups, nobody's going to see them. So let that be your little tip for the day. All right, so now we got our sidewalls cut, and I don't have my glue out here. Let me get my bottle of glue. Okay. So now the glue that I use on this, y'all, is a, you want to freeze that, check it out, whatever. I get this at Hobby Lobby. As you can see, it was $5.50. I've never used this before until I started using this foam board, and so far it works pretty doggone good. So the way we're going to glue this together, shake this glue down. It's pretty thick glue. Just want to put a little bead along the edge. And I stop short of the bottom of the wall, so when I glue it together and the glue oozes out, it doesn't get all over my table, and we're gluing it to my table. Put another little bead on this wall. And lay that down. Get our back wall. Remembering we want these to be exact, so we put a little glue on this side, put a little glue on this end, and show you how fast these go together, y'all. Take our big wall here, push some of this stuff out of the way. Okay. Just basically touch that end of that wall, stand this one up, touch it to this one. Now I'm fighting with it because I'm trying to look over top of my camera while I'm doing this, so it normally isn't that hard. Get a little paper towel here to wipe the excess glue off your fingers, and then stick your other piece in here. On this end, glue that one on. All right, push everything nice and tight together here. You can see where this end has a gap in it. Remember I told you this stuff has a little warp to it. Just got to fight that a little bit. So now got her together. That's how fast and easy this stuff goes together, guys. What I do now is I'm going to take my square and I'm going to slide my square around it. And I'm going to make sure that the back wall, I have to get up and walk over the camera here. See how I just tweaked it there a little bit? It was not square. So now I'm pushed up against my square on both sides. Get this wall pushed back into place. There, so now I'm up against my square. This back wall is against one side and this other wall is against the other side, which is going to make your building square. So now as this dries, it'll dry square and it'll make the roof and everything else go on easier. So I need to let this dry for a little bit, y'all. This glue takes about an hour to set up, so I'll be back in an hour and we'll start working on building this roof. So don't go away now. All right, y'all. I moved it over to a different table here after I got it put together just to see if I couldn't make it look a little better. Got the doors cut. I ended up having to cut the doors a little taller because my motorhome was too doggone tall. I also made the roof removable. Put a couple ribs in here in the back just to kind of glue it down. You can still see glue in there. It's still a little wet. But I made this long enough to fit my motorhome. And then I also had to cut the door a little bit because it still wasn't quite tall enough. Everything cleared except for the back of the ladder. So I had to trim the door up a little bit so I could get the back of the ladder to clear. As you can see, I also got one of my dualies parked in there next to it. And then we'll take off the other part of the roof here. And I've got a regular dually in there with one of my Cadillacs. I'm thinking of maybe putting some shelving, some tools and stuff in the back. That's why I wanted the roof to be removable. And then I decided that it wasn't big enough to begin with, so move around here. And I built a little room off the back. We may cut a door into there, but I've already glued the roof onto there, so I'm probably not going to do any kind of detail inside of there. Just a little office building. And that's it, guys. That's my garage build. From beginning to end, like I said, I've cut this roof piece to fit on top here. Just slips in there like so. And after that sits down on there, this piece, you just slide it up into place and it should stay there. Now I'm going to do some kind of roofing material on here. And we're going to do some kind of siding. What exactly, I don't know yet, but that's what we're going to work on. So that is my garage build, y'all. Hope you liked that. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, check me out on eBay, and most of all, y'all don't forget to come back. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.